And as I mentioned earlier in the clip we played, if you're listening to this as a complete entity of a podcast or a program, I was trying to hang around and see if Punk was going to show up, and then Harley had her situation. But what happened apparently, as I watched the next day, was it we're about 5 o'clock till the 9 o'clock hour, or 5 o'clock.
We're 5 o'clock to the 9 o'clock hour here at the CAT Scan Show.
Well, it could be 25 or 6 to 4 now. We were 5 minutes to 9 o'clock is what I'm trying to say. A big turning point in the ratings. And suddenly, like Mussolini, making me trend, here came our old friend Phil, CM Punk. And now we've already talked about, and if you didn't hear it, folks, you can search it out, the clip on why we were forced to reference by the throngs of the cult of Cornette. We were forced to reference that Punk referenced us while he was referencing other people. But now we're going to talk about what the actual segment was. And, again, I noted camera work on the entrances, is fucking great. And Punk he's in his hometown, and he brings the people into it. He doesn't just go around and shake hands like every dry baby face. He's up on the fucking desk. He milks almost the whole song because if they're paying for it, why not? And again, he talks to them and not at them. And the story he was telling was, is he going to be at WrestleMania? Well, a short version is yes, but to do what? And that's where, should he be a host or should he referee? And he had the interchange with Pat McAfee about the podcast they listen to. And then, he knocks Seth a little bit. And he said that somebody that hasn't mentioned me is The Rock. And we're not up. I'm not up. You may know, but he said the history 10 years ago when when The Rock went face to face with the Second City Saint, his arms were too short to box with God. Now, do we have a CM Punk victory in the archives over The Rock, or is he talking about a promo where he scorched him, or what is that history?
Was it The Rock's appearance that actually triggered the pipe bomb originally? The promo?
It may have been.
Because Punk was the champion, but The Rock was coming and getting pushed right to the top? Well, we all talk about the pipe bomb, but you never think about what triggered it. I think that may have been it.
Yes, what was the detonator switch? So, then in that case, then, boom. I was hoping they had footage of him beating The Rock they could show sometime, but nevertheless. But he promoted Drew McIntyre. And he said, if you got a problem, let's handle it face to face, motherfucker. And also he had made a couple of, other witty remarks about his language and, they're not on Netflix yet and whatever. But when he started talking about Drew, boom, here came Drew's music. And this turned into some different shit as soon as they did this, because as Drew's coming out with his entrance music, instead of Punk being like every other dipshit in the world and standing there and just letting the music play and blah, 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 Punk is on a microphone. Cut that bullshit music off, right? But turn that shit off. And he told it, get your bitch ass in here. Are you a Scottish psychopath in a kilt or an internet troll in a skirt? It is automatically we've got goddamn actual people arguing with each other again instead of these fucking dramatic renditions of Shakespeare. And Drew McIntyre is great. And he was crowing about, Punk would be at his mercy because he's hurt in the ring, and he's wearing the t-shirt where he has the tombstone of Punk's Mania main event or whatever. And Punk said, I never had to put another man's name on a shirt to sell it. I mean, it's not the bullshit that these phony fucking writers hand guys. These are these guys doing this shit. Or at least they're modifying it and delivering it well because nobody else has been talking like this. And Drew got back, you don't drink or do drugs, but you spend all your time in rehab. because there's Punk with his arm brace on. That was fucking classic. And then Punk did the deal where he laid down in the ring, but Drew got up on the desk and got cross-legged like Punk sits, and Drew is gloating because he's in the position that Punk wants to be in. He's the chosen one. And Punk got up and said, "Who chose you? What paragon of virtue chose you to be the chosen one? Say his name." Oh, fuck, that was fucking great.
And they got the shot right on Drew's face when Punk said his eyes got a little wide. You didn't expect that.
Yes. Well, yeah, because that's what it's supposed to be. Well, you see an opening, boom. And so then somehow Drew, after they just did some great shit, the piece of business they're trying to do is that Drew challenged Punk, sit there at ringside, be the guest commentator for my match at WrestleMania, and sit there and have to watch me win, right? Win the title, my crowning achievement, and I'll rub it in your face. And then Seth's music starts playing. And as soon as he hears Seth's music, Punk starts hitting himself in the head with the microphone slowly, like, what the fuck, another one of these motherfuckers. And Seth comes into the ring with Punk and the singing and the woeing. And then as soon as they bring it down, then the people in Chicago start chanting CM Punk, CM Punk. And of course, Seth Franklin Rollins has to welcome everybody to Monday Night Rollins in Punk's face, but then, got some drowned out by some more chants, and Punk says, "Hey, it's your show, but it's my city." And Seth, I guess they just put Seth out there to make sure that he was represented, because he didn't add a lot to this. He said, "You can't make decisions about a match that you're not in, and I'm the champion, so let's take a fan poll." Did that make any sense, Brian?
Not really.
But at least the fans that were polled said, yes, we'd like to see Punk do the announcing. Actually, the fans first chanted referee, referee. And Punk said he couldn't be a fair referee with these two dipshits involved. They bleep dipshits, but so anyway, Seth told Punk stay out of his way, and then Punk said, "Okay, I'll be the announcer." And he basically he wound it up with, I'll do what both of you could never do. I'll make you both sound interesting. And then hit my music, and Punk's music starts playing, and Drew is like, stop it. And he starts promoing Punk, and while he's doing that, Seth hits Drew with a super kick and a curb stomp, and Drew's on his face, and Punk's in the entryway, and Seth did something, but it was 20 minutes, but it was great, and you couldn't wait to see what was going to be said next by who.
This was a fantastic segment. Drew McIntyre went from being boring to me thinking he needed time away just because nothing was happening.
Yeah.
Now I'm intrigued by him. Intrigued more by his personality than his matches, to be fair. But whenever he's out there and on the mic, stuff's happening. And it's been like this for a few months now, and him and Punk is the real dynamic. And then you get the Punk Rollins stuff. Drew at least, I don't know, with Drew at least it was a back and forth. Punk and Rollins, it was a one-sided thing. Rollins' music is over. Once the music ends and he's acting silly or trying to keep up with these two guys on the mic, I don't think it worked as well.
Yeah.
But great segment. And again, I don't know when Punk will be cleared. I got to think it's not going to be for a while. But if they get him on the show and they get segments like this, look at that number. How do you not do more stuff like this?
Well, but you got to be careful. You can't just, okay, here he is now every week, folks, and he's going to come out and say something. It still has to be special until they're ready to pull the trigger on something. But, again, it sounds like this sounds like an argument that Austin and Rock would have had 25 years ago. Except, different personalities involved. But it's not this scripted, memorized, homogenized, pasteurized bullshit that we're used to. It's at least a little fucking entertaining arguing instead of bleh.